And we're off to the races, as I normally say. All right, guys, I'm super stoked because my next guest we have been trying to literally, quite literally, trying to get this interview going. And it's been crazy because for one reason or another, we had our time zones wrong. He lives in UK, and then we're obviously in Cali, and it was wild, but finally the stars are aligned, and the cosmic gods are like, all right, God said, Almighty said, let's make it happen today. And so I am really, really happy, ladies and gentlemen, because today's guest is like a rising star in the UK country scene. I mean, this guy has so many good songs, so many hits. You guys got to check him out. As soon as I'm done with this, and you're done watching this show, you got to go look him up. I mean, great songs. He's from South Africa originally. Now he lives in UK. His journey is as rich as his songwriting. Guys, give it up for the one and only Chris Erasmus.
There you go, man. That was a great intro. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, brother. It's long in coming. As you know, we've had lots of little hiccups on my end, mostly for some reason or another. You're the one and only star that I haven't been able to pin. And I said, today it's got to happen. Either the last time, because my wife ended up running a virus thing. You saw the laptop. I jumped on my son's laptop. Then I get on the laptop, and then you're muted. I could see you're muted. We're literally talking via phone. It's the most hilarious story. You can't make stuff like this up. It'll definitely be in a book one day because I write books once in a while. Anyway, my man, how are you? I know it's really late over there. How you doing?
No, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Weather's been a bit damp, but I can't complain. Keeping busy,
Yeah.
working on some music. So yeah, nice day to be indoors.
Yeah, UK. Wow, dude, this is awesome. You're originally from Zimbabwe, yes? Zimbabwe?
Yeah, yeah. So I bounced between Zimbabwe and South Africa when I grew up.
Very,
For
very
kind of
cool.
yeah.
Wow, that is fantastic. And when you started, obviously we're going to delve right into that, but you used to watch a lot of American musicals, right? Stars like Gene Kelly,
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra, Debbie Reynolds, to name a few. And that put that spark in you about someday going into making music, and more so in the vein of country music too, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that's phenomenal. What was your favorite movie? Speaking of which, from that
I
time
mean,
period.
there's so many. I think people talk about the perfect musical, and Singing in the Rain comes into that a lot. I love a lot of
Sing.
things. Bandwagon. With Fred Astaire, Sid Charisse. I love You'll Never Get Rich, which is a very early kind of Ginger
Yeah.
Rogers, Fred Astaire film. On the Town is a really cool one, and actually made it into a very kind of popular musical. So yeah, they're all got really special
Yeah.
things about them,
Places in
and the
your heart, huh?
problem solving within the movie making and the musical process is such an interesting
Sure.
thing to me. Them figuring out how to film with those big rigs and like on location, and then trying to dub in taps. It's not digital; it's all analog. It was really impressive what those guys could do.
Wow, Chris, I never broke it down that way. I'm glad you did. That is unbelievable, impressive. It's an art in and of itself, almost,
Oh yeah, oh
you
yeah.
know? And the one song, though, I mean, one movie did it for you. What's just say, like, dude, this is what I see myself doing for the rest of my life.
The funny thing with the kind of music that I do is it was never really something I thought I could do as a career. Like growing up where I did, you could you might as well say you wanted to be kind of Peter Pan. And people were like, yeah, cool, like Peter Pan, and you want to be an actor in a movie. So I didn't really think about that, and kind of, I always sang, and from the age of like, started my did my first professional gig when I was 8. But I did a lot more classical stuff, so like opera, like very classical kind of focused music, choral music, and it
Holy
taught me a
moly.
lot. And then I never still didn't think I could do it as a career. I got jobs and I got paid, but in
Sure.
Africa, like there's just not really a financial economy that can kind of really support that without you doing like 7 or 8 jobs.
Yeah.
Um, and I got really lucky. I got invited when I was studying in Australia. I got after working in the States, I got invited to kind of study with these amazing people, and it kind of kept growing. When I was studying in Australia, I did a few jobs as an actor and booked them and started getting cast in films, and then got contacted and be like, hey, we've heard your music that you kind of just sing. do you want to put an album together? And then I wrote without thinking it was country music. Although I'd grown up listening to your kind of Johnny Cash's and stuff too, and had that whole influence, Hank Williams, Willie Nelson.
Absolutely. Love it, bro.
Yeah, so it wasn't like my influences were like so wide, from Josh
Yeah.
Groban, Gene Kelly, and then Willie Nelson, and uh, but yeah, and then I started writing, like seriously to record, and a friend listened to it and goes, so when did you become a country artist? And I was like, really? It's country music? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess, I grew up in Africa in the bush, and I live on a farm, and it makes sense that if I
Campfires,
write what I am, that's what's going to come, kind of
animals,
come.
horses, campfires.
Yeah. So that's kind of what came out. And
Right.
I've kind of been growing that passion, and I've been pretty lucky to do a lot of performing and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking like, Zimbabwe, you don't think like you're gonna be doing the campfire thing. You don't think of that, to tell you the truth. Specifically, if you haven't traveled extensively, like I haven't traveled the world per se. I've traveled some places, within the United States, and lived in Mexico City for about 6 months, many years, many moons ago, to brush up on the Spanish. But I I've never been, obviously not even the foggiest idea until YouTube came along. And then I realized, holy shit, like you guys do the very same thing we do out
Yeah.
here. And it's funny because then naturally the music you were making was country music.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
there's a very big following in Africa, and
yes.
places like Kenya will surprise you with the amount of people that are really tuned into the country music world. Yeah.
Wow. You left? So you left Africa to pursue your dream, what, like ages 18 or 19 per se, right around
Yeah,
there? And
I stopped living in South Africa when I was 18.
okay.
I finished school and actually got into college and realized this, the industry. I was studying acting and music, and I realized that the industry wasn't quite where it needed to be. And I was over in Montana, just for like, my parents were going over there for some trip, and we ended up on a ranch, and we were working some cattle. My mom kind of grew up on horses, and we impressed the head cowboy a little bit because we outrode the cowboys he just hired to move these cattle, and he offered me a job, and I was like, cool, yeah, I've got nothing to do for 6 months. I'll finish out the season with you guys. So I finished out a season in Montana when I was 19, cowboying up there, and then went to Australia and just finished my college degree. Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. You've been living at various places, which is great because it also feeds into your writing process, right?
Yeah.
It helps a lot in that regard. Now let's delve into that. Is that like a stream of consciousness that comes out? What comes first, the lyrics or the melody, or what comes first in your storytelling as far as writing goes?
I mean, the stream of consciousness thing's great. Sometimes if I've got something on my mind, I'll sit down and just write and write and write and write and see what comes out, and then, take phrases from that. There's two ways I like to write. One is like letting the melody dictate the lyrics. Melody is
Okay.
king, as a friend of mine would say. But the other way is letting the lyrics dictate the melody. I love, if you listen to like Welsh, or like if you listen to, Shakespeare, to be or not to be,
Right.
you got, Edwin's letter, thou nature art my goddess, to thy law my services are bound. So that can then, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's cool. Let's see what we can do, with the guitar, baby. Where does that sit? So I sometimes do that, especially if I'm just trying to put myself in a space that I'm not used to going. I love, if I hear cool phrases, or I think up cool phrases or interesting ways to look at things, I'll write them down on my phone, or I've always got thousands of diaries near me. And I'll write them down on a piece of paper or a diary, and especially, and then I'll sit down and kind of put them together and try to tell a story. There's something I'm missing someone, or I really miss this place today. And I think, okay, cool. Talk about this place. What do I like doing there? Why do I like going there? What do I miss about working as a cowboy in Montana? What don't I miss about working?
Sure.
That's kind of like how I like to write. I like to be honest. I like to write about things that I know about and I experience. So if
Yeah.
I do the same with my performing in all elements. Even if I'm never going to be like a professional standard. Like I've got very high expectations of myself as a guitar player, but I'm never gonna, outplay the session guys who just are just the most amazing players. But I will sit there and learn everything about pedal boards and the different techniques. So when I'm working in a band or I'm trying to MD the guys, I can tell them, listen, this is what I want. This is how I want to break it down. And that goes for if I'm writing about working horses, working cattle, traveling. I like to know what I'm speaking about, and I like to try to be as genuine as possible.
Yeah, no kidding. You seem very well versed in music. I mean, clearly your musical theater background has
Yeah,
got to help with the writing and the process. I like how you basically broke it down also in terms of how you write a song. You broke it down almost like a script in a way,
yeah,
like
yeah,
and that's fantastic because that's great. How you create the songs um is really cool, the process. I dabble. Well, I will tell you, I'll dabble in
oh
music
yeah,
a little. And I do the melody first, because I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. Am I a professional like writer, singer?
Hmm.
Um, but music comes to me, it flows through your brain, and then I will start with the melody, and then I would just write a song based on it. Say I will write a song about my wife, or like or a song about a punk rock song. I like punk music. I like fast music, a lot of rock and
Yeah,
hardcore punk music. I'll go, okay, all right, I'll do da 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 da, da, and then I just like a few bar chords, very
hmm.
basic chords. Before you know it, I'll put something together, and it's just like this. I have like I think I have like a sixth sense almost of how music should be arranged in my wildest dreams.
Yeah,
And then I just think I write a song and I say, well, I guess it's okay considering there are so many songs that aren't that okay and they make it pretty big. And I guess
yeah,
that's a whole other field, that's marketing and whatnot. But
yeah.
what was your first successful song that you would say that it got a lot of airplay on the streaming apps these days?
I mean, when I first released, I released we did a couple of covers, and I did a version of a song called Fires.
Mhm.
Now this is way back when I was studying in New York and working kind of the theater scene there. It was a Ronan Keating song, and that actually ended up in the Billboard charts, which is pretty
Beautiful.
cool. But because it was my first single, a lot of I think we were using an automated streaming service, like a licensing service, and I won't say which one, but they were convinced
Don't say it.
that we had done something like 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 the streaming thing, and I had nothing to do with it. I had a manager, and they did it, and we didn't even do that much promotion because I had no budget. And yeah, we ended up on the Billboard charts. And I was like, oh, this is easy. Little did I know. So yeah, that song did really, really well. I enjoyed it. It was a really fun kind of. We took like a slightly more kind of country rock kind of pace on it.
Love it.
But the song that I'm kind of really, really, really fond of, and there's a couple that we haven't released yet that we've got sitting waiting to go. Is a song called "Listen." Uh, Really happy with that. That like pretty organically did, you got a couple of 100,000, and still kind of coming and going in the charts. I mean, these days, how, especially at the moment with Spotify and everyone kind of trying to figure out how the new algorithms are working and the AI stuff. Everything is kind of
I want to
so
talk about
unpredictable with
that too.
streams.
I want to talk to you about that also, but keep going.
Um,
Go on.
but yeah, really love that song. Listen, I'm very proud of it. I sat down on my great grandmother's piano that she got into Africa in Oxwagon, and it's a very very old German
This
made
is this
like
is a
upright.
fact.
But yeah,
This is
fact
true.
sits in my bedroom in on the farm back home. I'm actually going back now for Christmas. I'm going to sit and write on it. I can't wait. I miss it so much, and I'll eventually get it up to London when I have my own place and I'm not traveling as much and I have a place to put it. Can't wait to get that piano up here. But
It's
it's yeah,
awesome.
really, really special thing, and probably not worth that much, but I love it. And I wrote that song on it, and I've written a few songs, but that one really came out really quick at like 2 a.m. And yeah, it's done really well, and I'm really proud of it, and I hope it continues to kind of do well, and it continues to be relevant. It's quite ironic when I do play it. Sometimes if you play it and the crowd is a little restless, or you get a couple of drunk guys in the back, especially the smaller rooms. The bigger spaces are usually more respectful when they're there to watch you. But yeah, I'm very fond of that song. Listen, yeah,
Yeah, I can see why. honestly,
Mhm.
sentimentally speaking.
Yeah.
Camden Town's also good, man, and
Oh, you like it?
Shotgun, I think.
Yeah,
These are
Shotgun. Yeah, those
really,
are
really good,
fun.
man. You're doing
Thank you. I
well.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Camden Town's a funny one. It's such a simple kind of chord progression, and I was basically that song. I obviously Camden in London is like the place for music. It's a little like it's like a mini Nashville kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
heard.
not quite as industry based, but there's a lot of performance, and you've got wonderful people that are kind of come out of there and perform there, and I played a gig there not that long ago.
Awesome.
So I've got a soft spot in it for Camden as well. But um, every time I got called about a job, I was walking through Camden, and we had just come out of COVID, and I kept getting a call from my acting agents, being like, "Hey, we need to be here," and I'd be going to do something and have to go home and kind of get ready. And it happened like 6 times in a row in Camden Town. So I thought, well, this is quite a cool thing. Maybe like somebody's talking to me in Camden Town and wrote that,
That's
and it's a really fun little song. Yeah.
that's the equivalent of like Madison Square Garden in the old days, for a rock band. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, I
it's it.
mean,
It's
listen,
yeah,
Madison
dude.
Square Garden is I dream of playing. Actually, funny enough, Carnegie Hall, because I come from a classical background. I'd love to play Carnegie Hall. I got a friend who was a resident drummer there years ago.
Very cool.
But yeah, that I love Madison Square Garden. But there's something about the acoustics in a Carnegie Hall as a vocalist that would be quite fun.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I want to hear all
Mm.
about it next time I have you back on. What about Shotgun?
Shotgun was that was an interesting one. I kind of wanted a song that was a little bit more kind of front-footed, and we wrote this ages ago. This song with a friend of mine, and we couldn't kind of get it right. And they were like, "Nah, you got to be kind of super country." And I was like, "Nah, guys, like I'm not. Like I am, but like it needs to be organic." And I was kind of like, "What is a nice word to sing or to shout that sounds like what it is?" So like there's certain words you'll say that like you when just by the way you say it in the English language, you know what that looks like, the sound it makes, you
Yeah,
know. Uh,
beautiful.
and shotgun makes that like it's a bang. So I was like, what kind of when you get to a relationship, something snaps like a bang in your head, or like you've had enough, and that
Or
that
you have
final
a
score.
shotgun wedding, right? Get married right
That too,
Vegas.
that too.
Vegas.
So it's kind of that like shotgun, I'm done. It's kind of like bang, okay,
Right,
no, I'm
right.
done. That's it, I'm done. So we just threw that word shotgun in because it was so fun to sing, and kind of it was this descriptive. I speak another a language called Afrikaans, and it's very descriptive, and the way the words say, like vlakvark is a warthog. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
like it's nice. There are a lot of nice words to say. So yeah, I really love words that can sound like what they are, and that's one of them, shotgun, and that that happened. That fell into that song, and yeah, it came out really good. I was really happy with that song. Yeah.
Now you mentioned obviously you're a country boy at heart, right?
Oh yeah.
And but you're now a city guy, right? So how do you have to go back into the country to write music, or do you think you draw inspiration from the city as well?
I mean, I think country. The essence of country is telling a story from your perspective. Now, a country boy in the cities sees things in strange ways too.
Yeah,
Um,
I like to
I
see
mean,
that
Nashville. I
dynamic.
was I was just over there. That's the city, and there's a lot of country guys who write some pretty good songs out there. So I need to get back. I need to get to the wild and to the open to breathe and to kind of not
Hmm.
go insane. And I cut, I would say, about 7 weeks a year out of my life to be like, that's non-negotiable. Two of
Yes,
those weeks are negotiable. Two of those weeks are not negotiable. I got 2 weeks in the
absolutely.
year that I go to a place, I'm unavailable. My phone stays
Oh, really?
in the
That's what I was
house,
gonna
and
ask. Did
we've
you
yeah.
disconnect completely?
Well, there's no connection where we go. We go right into the
Okay,
into the into the
okay.
bush in Africa, and there's like no connection. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's pretty special. I'm about to do that actually next week. I'm heading into the bush. Yeah, so I've come to the end of quite a long period, and yeah, it's pretty cool, and um, that helps me connect. But I think the cool thing about country is that you can be a city guy who relates to country about like missing a girl or having a tough time in the city. That can be a country song. I think the cool thing about country
Sure.
is that it's relatable and it covers so many
Hmm.
elements and aspects. And that's I think the ongoing argument about is what is country. I mean,
Yeah.
that's they keep having to add things in the like categories in like Grammy
Yeah.
nominations because country is so undefinable now, and
Right.
it spills over into rock, it spills over into blues, it spills over into
I
jazz
love it.
to an extent. It spills over into, your even Beyonce has got a country album,
Yeah.
and so like, but a lot of people are like, well, that's not country, and I'm like, well, it can be. It just
Yeah.
depends who you
She's a
are, right?
Texas girl after all. She's Texas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She takes like,
Yeah.
she's and she. So like, I think the cool thing about country is that everyone, ZZ Top's country,
Yeah.
but they kind of almost Texas blues, like
Also,
it's,
Leonard Skinner sounds country too. That was as
yeah,
country as I used to go
yeah,
earlier on until I met my wife, who turned me on to some good country music,
yeah.
Stapleton, and
Stapleton's the man. Stapleton's
urban.
the man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Stapleton's the gold standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, the guy's a songwriter. I saw him live. He's just phenomenal. The other one's Foy Vance. He's the lesser known guy. He's from this part of the world, but man, he can write songs and he just performs, and he's very kind of raw and real. Definitely worth checking out if you don't know him. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. In this world of AI, right? You mentioned AI earlier, and
Yeah.
I meant to ask you, how do you feel? Are artists being threatened by AI? And do you guys use any elements of AI for any music? I'm not talking about word
Mm.
wise, but maybe inspired by some, I don't know.
I look, AI is here, so we have to learn how to deal with it. I think how we deal with it's really important. Giving your rights away for AI algorithms to train on, that kind of thing. I think we're in dangerous waters there. But I mean, I think we've got to learn how to use it to minimize expenses for artists to create music. I don't think necessarily using it to write a song is correct in terms of like, hey, write me a song about this and just letting it do everything. But I also think that's going to catch up to you. I mean, AI is training itself on what's out there already, right? It's an algorithm that says, okay, what's already out there? I'm going to bring you back elements of everything.
Right.
If what's out there is what's being made by AI, it's going to start spitting out the same stuff. It needs original ideas and original music and artists to keep doing original stuff for AI to actually function. Otherwise, it eats itself. It's like a virus. It needs new things
Yes.
to latch onto. So I don't think that if you're a real artist and you keep working on your live performance, you keep working on really sticking to your roots, I don't think AI will be a threat if you're not sitting down and stealing synths. And I think certain people with certain styles might be in trouble. Certain people who've auto-tuned their stuff for years might be in trouble. I think that people are going to want more your Stapletons, your original, that real raw, real. I mean, if you listen to like Queen and you listen to what Freddie does with some of his vocals, and then you do like you listen to just his vocal, you can get like just the vocals, the vocal track.
Right.
I mean, he's flat notes, he bends notes in, he makes mistakes. It's human, and that's the beauty of what he does.
Yeah.
AI can't do that, not yet anyway. And I
Yeah.
don't think it can on purpose make a mistake. Computers, by definition, needs to hit what it's being told to do. It's not going to do something else. If AI starts becoming sentient, that's going to start happening, but they may got other problems. So
They
then
have
we go
no
like,
they have no feelings. There's no sentiments right? So
yeah,
as such, it's too perfect. So it's too polished. And as a
yeah,
result, it's got no feeling, no emotion. And
yeah,
then the music that sounds, as though it's been contrived.
and you can hear it. Where I start having an issue with AI is like if I'm listening, the AI DJ on Spotify, and I'm listening to a song and I'm like, hang on, this thing's playing me AI music. Why do I have AI bands on Spotify that's being fed to me by AI? So I actually specifically was like, stop. I literally tell it, please stop playing AI. I don't want to hear AI bands on Spotify, monetized AI bands. I
Mhm.
don't think AI should be allowed to create bands that are monetized. That's
Yeah.
for me more of the issue. So as a creational tool, look, if you were to go and write a song, come up with an idea and then bounce it off an AI program to be like, hey, as long as it's your music, your lyrics, your chords, like your basic chords, and then AI spits it back and says, we'll try an A minor here instead of an A. I mean, you're going up against Beyonce, who's got what, 500 writers who are doing exactly the same thing and then spitting the best songs, and she just picks the one every time she wants a song. So I think it's going to be a leveler in that sense. I think suddenly
Yeah.
everyone's going to be really real and genuine and keep coming up with new ideas. But I think it's our responsibility to be very harsh on how AI is monetized.
True.
Um,
True.
yeah, I think for me that's the sticking point. I think, everyone's complaining about training and stuff, and I think I'm not going to give wherever I can, not going to give my rights for AI to train against my voice. Um, will I use it to throw ideas at me? ChatGPT, these things. I'm never going to use the music like this album that we're doing. It's everyone plays music on it. It's real. My vocals, we're not running it through AI stuff, but it's costing me a fortune. It's
Yeah,
all
it
my
is.
savings, it's everything. So maybe AI will drive that price down a bit. Guys will have to start working for a bit less. But the pinch point for me is we've got to figure out a way to get our genuine artists who are making an effort to write real songs paid. I think when you monetize AI, that's where the problem is, and I'm seeing that on Spotify. So that's more worrying for me right now
Yeah.
than the actual creation of stuff. I actually, if you're gonna make stuff and great, go nuts, do your thing, but you can't monetize that because it is trained up against stuff. It's trained up against people that haven't given their permission. It's trained up, and if you keep letting it train up and then monetizing that and then just repeating it, it's going to start training against itself
Yes.
because that's the new stuff being made and monetized and pushed by the AI program on
You're
Spotify.
right.
Like it's,
You're right.
and I
It's going to
think,
be
and as I
recycled,
said,
right? The same thing.
it's going to recycle its stuff, and essentially it's going to start becoming the same thing. It's going to start.
Yeah.
You're not getting any original ideas. Music is algorithmic, so as Ed Sheeran won that court case, you can't monetize four chords. You can't copyright four chords because you can use four chords on almost any song if you know what you're doing. And he has proven that. So and thank goodness he did. So there's nuance. I think being human and
Hmm.
allowing yourself to make mistakes, allowing yourself to have that imperfect vocal. Do your best, sing the hell out of it, but that rasp, that vocal break, sometimes is actually a good thing in the music. I have to tell myself that too. Don't get me wrong; it's very hard not to want to be perfect. But yeah, look, AI is only going to be a problem if we pay our artists nothing, pay AI more, don't create original stuff, and just let it eat itself. Like I think we will then be victims of our own intelligence. I can't remember who it was. It was John Cleese or Stephen Fry. It was one of these very intelligent men who I respect, and I can't remember his name now. But they said something like AI. The biggest problem with the AI, it might have been Ricky Gervais, is that we were intelligent enough to create AI and stupid enough to use it. Um,
Well, I think you want me to tell you, Mike, what I think about AI, to be
yeah,
quite frank with you. All right. So I think about AI, the only reason I like AI, the only reason I use AI is Sora. I like to
mhm,
watch um people that are extremely big, beyond
mhm,
obese, where they
yep,
jump on a bungee cord and that kind of stuff. Like it's innocence. It's stuff
yeah,
that is not hurting anyone per se. Um, it's just for the entertainment value of it. I find that the problem I have with AI, and hear me out, it's a good tool for a lot of folks, right?
mhm,
Specifically college folks and that
yep,
sort of thing, but it also takes away from thinking. It takes away from your own ingenuity.
mhm,
And at the end of the day, if you continue to do that, you're not going to be left with anything to think, because it's going to think for you. And if you don't use your muscle, you lose it. So at the end of I think it's for entertainment values, and perhaps to spark up ideas for movies, spark up ideas for a topic per se. You need a topic. You and I went to college. You got to
mhm,
write essays, that sort of thing, to just to get a kind of a theme going, information that you need. Before, we had to go through an encyclopedia many years ago. You had to learn, go research. It can help you with the time crunch. But aside
mhm,
of that, we have to be very extremely vigilant, that and cognizant of what we're doing, because if you start doing things of that nature, you're never going to be able to think on your own 2 feet, and that's a very important thing to have. So you can't lose sight of what's important for us, for our own and actually, really, like you said, you hit it right on the nail on the head. I mean, if people are if AI is being used, or misused rather, to make money, and it's taking away from other artists that are legitimate artists, that are
mhm.
putting their own money into it, such as yourself and other independent folks, then then it's a crime. It's a crime. They should have checks and balances in place, and they ought to really penalize whoever's behind this kind of nonsense malarkey.
Yeah.
Um, it's great. Now let's talk about, you have contributed with great producers such as like Scott Jacoby, right?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, the dude is phenomenal. What was that like? How did you feel? Take us through the moments where you're working with
Oh,
this
yeah.
genius. You know what I mean?
I was
Like it's
actually
so
working
hot.
with him on Thursday, actually. Yeah.
Oh
We,
wow.
we we're still laying vocals for this album, and he's my producer on this new album too. Scott is incredible. The guy knows he. I learn a lot in the room. The cool thing about working with Scott is that he gets really great team. If I wanted, we got guitarists. We got like Ben Butler playing guitar on this album. The guys,
Wow.
we got Rich Mercury on drums. We've got
Cream of
these
the
guys are
crop,
like,
bro.
yeah. I mean, these guys. Richard Hammond on bass. It's pretty cool, and he gets you guys in the room. You speak shorthand, so we can get a lot of songs done in a short time, which is really cool. Like I think we did 3 days. We did 3 days in the studio with a band, and we did 12 songs. Yeah, so like it's value for money, and Scott
Yeah.
Scott and I we go way back now. I've known him since I was first in New York, and he did the vocals on Fires. We've been friends since then, and he's a really kind, humble man, and he really embodies the kind of spirit of creativity, and manages to kind of combine that with a very high level of technical understanding of what he's doing, which is quite incredible. The man can hear a flat note after listening to music for like 3-4 hours in like a
Holy
10-hour
moly.
session, and I'm sitting there going like, wait, really? There was a flat note. There was a bum note there. I did not hear that. And he's great like that, and he understands then like which pathways to run things through and how to run things in the studio, and never gets flustered, never lets
Superpower,
never
huh?
gets
He's got
egotistical
superpower for
about
sure.
stuff. Yeah, it's he's wonderful to work with, and really knows how to work with each person. So yeah, I'm really lucky to work with him, and I'm really excited to see what we do with this new album. We've got some really cool stuff, and when you work with someone that good, you can also trust them. If you're writing your own music and stuff, sometimes you get insecure, sometimes you don't think the song's good enough. That song we released, we had it made. I didn't want to release it. I didn't even want to record it.
Okay.
And Scott goes, "Hey man, I really like that song.
Cool.
We should track it." I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not sure." He said, "No, let's do it. Let's do it. I can see it." And
Beautiful.
like we put that together, and when we finished it, I was like, "Wow, I'm really glad we did that." It's so
Yeah.
and as you say, like recording, like everyone says, "Oh, you write your songs and you play it and you do it all yourself." And I was like, "No, like recording is such a team effort. Like you
Yes.
write your songs, then you have like your friends come in, or sometimes a writer, and they'll give you a bit of input,
Okay.
because you don't want to get too
Okay.
one-dimensional in your songs. Like the whole
Right.
fun is
Yeah.
working with people, and then you go into the studio with Scott, and we'll sit and we'll like wrestle out. And he's like, "Yeah, man, but this key change, like it's a little clanky. What about this one? Like, oh, what
Yeah.
about this?
Sure.
What about this BPM? Or what about that BPM? And what about this key?" And that's by the time you got there, you've worked, and it's hours and hours of work, and then you get in the studio, and the drummer hits a vibe, and you go, "You know what? Like this song's cool, but what about if we kind of," and I've did this in the studio. We got this really cool song, kind of like a real honky tonk kind of vibe. And I've been listening to a lot of Marcus King, who I think is amazing. And I was like, hey, Scott, literally, do you feel this Marcus King kind of rhythm on the chorus? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And everyone gets back into the out of the recording booth, and you'll sit there and go through it all, and we like wrestle it out, and and that's the fun of making these things. Yeah, you're under stress because you really want it to be good, and but that's the magic of working with somebody like Scott.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I was gonna say. Go ahead.
no, yeah, it's
Sorry.
just magic. It's cool. It's collaboration. Everything's
It's a
collaboration.
magic collective, right?
Yeah,
Do you have any songs like in your like that you hold close to your chest, maybe that you have like in a treasure trove,
yeah.
sort of, you haven't released to the world, or you care not to release because they hold kind of a sentimental value that maybe you should just share with your own family? You have any songs like that, or is there even a thing for you?
I mean, look, I think when you write a song, it needs to have that sentimentality and feel, especially if it's a ballad. I do have one, and we actually released it. Then we took it off, and I redid it because I wasn't happy with it, and redid the whole thing. We put like a cello that was playing a violin part in it, so it's playing
Wow.
like high up, and
Sure.
it's this really beautiful song. And I haven't released it, and I haven't released it, and I haven't
Okay.
released it, and I've been sitting on
Yeah.
this for about 2 years now. This song, since we've
Yeah.
redone it. And it's called Falling, and
Falling.
it's really
Beautiful.
close to my heart, and it's been in this finished format for a while, and I'm kind of so we'll probably I keep wanting to do a music video for it first before I release it, and that's fallen through
That's
three times. So we kind of, but that song, when that music video is done, will be released. I'm hoping in March next year.
so yeah, that's your baby. Now that's a bonus track that'll go along with the new album. Is that what you're saying? March?
No, I think it'll be a standalone single.
Okay.
Standalone
Okay.
single, let everyone know that I'm still alive, and because I've been living in a recording studio cave, and like when you're doing that, you can't keep up with social media as much, and posting and
Yeah.
like releasing songs. A lot of artists are releasing like catalogs, and I'm sitting working on these songs, hours and hours trying to get the vocals right, just the way I want them. So we've almost finished 2 of the 12 vocally, and we're still working on those. I'm tweaking lyrics here and there, but Falling came out really quick, and it was pretty early on in my writing career, like serious writing. It was the first song I wrote on piano. I like to write on multiple instruments. I don't just like writing on one. I'll sit and play on the resonator and write on that.
You can play almost every instrument, by the way, right?
I can play some, and when I say play, like I can get up in front of people and get through a song on piano with very rough chords. Guitar is my kind of go-to. That's where I
Yeah.
put most of my time in. But I've studied violin. I did 7 years of violin when I was young, and I can get my way through a bass if I need to, but I probably wouldn't play in front of people. Like I can be like boom, boom, and I can figure out by ear what I need to do, and I have an understanding. So I have an understanding of your kind of bowed instruments. I have an
Sure.
understanding of your kind of which I think is really fun and important, like
Yeah.
to kind of open the mind up a little bit. I've got an understanding of resonator, which is its own thing, because you a lot of the time I like to kind of tune them into open tunings. The resonator, which is pretty fun, and then electric, which funny enough, electric I struggle with a bit. I love it, but I'm more a acoustic guy, as you can probably
Yeah.
see.
Clearly, obviously, your music genre that you focus more on. Let me ask you this: two things before we get into the first one. I want to ask you about your playlist. What's on your playlist in your car right now? Or in your phone, I would say, but you play in your car. And then the second thing is, if you're not listening to if you're not listening to any country music or jazz, what other genres of music do you listen to that most people would not even imagine?
Well, I'll tell you right now what I'm listening to. I've got a playlist that I love studying songs. I think that's always like really fun. Let's see, playlists. And I always put it on a song study. So it's mostly country at the moment, to be honest.
Okay.
But I've been listening to this new guy I just listened to today. He did a song called Rodeo Queen, Jade Eagleson. Really cool song. I like listening to a lot of I mean, Lainey Wilson's doing some really cool stuff. I've been listening to her for a while, though. I kind of heard her and I thought she sounded like a very young Dolly Parton.
Yeah,
And
I thought the
she
same
just
thing.
kind of kept going from strength to strength. There's a band called Sons of Legion.
Yeah,
They do some really cool stuff. Like they're up and comers, but I really like what they're doing, and some really cool sounds. I like to be honest, like I'm very kind of when I'm listening to, I like listening to audiobooks in the car. So like I'm listening to
okay,
Darius Rucker's audiobook at the moment. I love listening to Springsteen
beautiful.
stuff, Phil Collins. I really like hearing their stories and kind of where they came from and how their stories happen. Take as many notes as I can, and also just sometimes you think you're alone in the world, and you're not. There's a lot of like people who are going through the same stuff and feel lonely. The
Yeah,
irony of feeling
right.
alone is that everyone has an element of loneliness, which I didn't really know until I listened to these guys, and they talk about it in very similar ways, and it manifests itself, especially as artists in music.
Yeah.
The crazy stuff that I listen to, I mean, there's always a bit of, I've got to have Stapleton on if I'm listening to playlist. Stapleton is up there, Foy Vance. I love a bit of Muddy Waters. I'm just going through my stuff at the
Good
moment. And I'm
stuff.
kind of,
Good stuff.
yeah, I mean, ZZ Top always goes a long way. Foy Vance is a big one. I'm listening to a fair bit of Cody Johnson as well. His new
Okay.
stuff. He released something which I really like. Some of the new stuff. Zach Top's pretty cool. The trad country thing. I'm a big fan of Call to War, which surprises a lot of people because that's
Yeah.
very like that's very. I liked his early stuff. His new stuff's very trad country. What I like about Coulter though, he keeps true to himself.
Yeah.
Like he will not like he doesn't get sucked into the hype, which is a lesson for me, and I'm sure
Yeah.
other people too.
Yeah.
And I respect that, like and
It's a lone wolf
guys in
almost,
Handy
huh?
Cowboy. Yeah,
The
I
lone
mean,
wolf.
it's a long playlist, 150 song playlist. Uh, but Eminem's thrown in there. Phantom of the
Okay.
Opera. Uh, I love me some classical, so like Barber of Seville.
Some heavy
I love
metal.
that one. Nickelback's probably about as heavy as I get, but I think Nickelback. I know that they take a lot of flack in the media and stuff over the last few years, but I think they're great, man. I think they
Yeah.
write good
Good
songs.
stuff.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
write really good songs. That's about as heavy metal as I get. I like a bit of like Blink 182 and stuff. You mentioned the punk
It's funny.
guys.
I was listening to Blink 182 before I got on with you.
Oh yeah, no, they're
Great,
great.
man. And if you go to my story right now,
Yeah.
you're gonna see that I put up some random songs, kind of like a Sunday feel or mood rather. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Oh,
We're ready to kind of shut this down, unfortunately. Full circle here. I want to ask you if you could tell your younger self something that you do different, what would it be and why? Or would you just be the same? Would it just be the same thing you're doing now? Would you or do you have any regrets about the route you took? Would you have done something else? Engineer, lawyer, doctor?
no regrets. To where I am now, I would love to have allowed myself to dream younger. I think I always wanted to do it, and I never let myself believe that that was something I could do. Just
Hmm.
because no one did that where I was from. No one could do that where I was from. So
That's right.
I used the sports route. I spent a lot of wasted hours on the the track and on stuff, and it got me around the world. But I'd love to put those hours into a guitar or into
Wow.
into. I mean, yeah. I'd love to have done that and to more singing. I was very lucky that I kept singing. But just keep dreaming and keep believing and like actually, dreams and hard work. If you trust yourself and be consistent, you never know.
Fantastic. Great advice for any younger folk listening out there. Well, that's my show, Almost Famous Radio Podcast. What can I say, guys? I'm beyond blessed to have had my good friend now, Chris Erasmus, on my show. Really, really excited for what's to come. Let us know when can we see the next album dropping, by the way? I forgot to ask you. Is that still in the works, right?
Yeah, we're still working on it. I think the lead singles are going to be dropped. Well, they're looking at early April.
Okay, early April.
Yeah,
And we're going to go ahead and leave that there for everyone to see at CJERASMUS. And you
that's the
have
one.
links there and whatnot, right? And that's pretty much across
Everything's
the
there.
board
Yeah,
for
everything's there. CJ Erasmus. If you want to get onto I've got a link there to my website, to my Spotify, to my iTunes. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Messenger, and I'll get back to you. Yeah.
do you DM do you so you do answer the DMs and stuff and you keep
Yeah, where I
in touch
can.
with
Yeah,
the
within reason. Yeah.
your
Yeah,
fan base and stuff?
yeah, I do, and if you
Thank-
guys want to sign up to I've got an email like newsletter we're setting up as we speak, and we can please sign up to that. And if you sign up to that, you'll hear about any shows coming up. We've got a couple of we're waiting on a few dates, but we've got a couple of fun festivals coming and stuff next year. So
Yeah, that's exciting. Okay, final thoughts. That's it.
appreciate it, man. It's so cool meeting you.
I'm so happy, man, that we finally made this happen, dude. To tell you the truth, this is the third time, man. Third time's a charm. Thank you again, Chris. You're beyond. You're a blessing to my heart, and I'm beyond thrilled to have had you on the show. I'm looking
Uh,
forward to all the music. Your songs are pretty rad. I like Shotgun a lot actually,
Stoked,
and
man.
you know, so yeah, keep on rocking in the free world, man. Hello and
I
goodbye
appreciate
until
it.
we meet again, guys. Thanks so much again for jumping on this, Chris. Take care. God bless.
Damn, you too. Cheers. Thank you.